What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, bringing home the bacon, NFL DFS video. We are here. It is Thanksgiving. It is week 13. Thursday's a little bit different. We have 3 games we're going to cover. We're going to look at everything to do with Thursday football. We've got 3 games starting at 11:30 a.m. Friday edition, we do have a showdown. So instead of Thursday night showdown, we'll have a Friday night showdown. Friday afternoon showdown we'll break down. So if you've never been here before, welcome to the channel. Hopefully you will stick around. Hopefully you will subscribe. We are going to build a lineup on DraftKings, Fanduel, and Yahoo. We're also going to have giveaways every single video. So make sure you stick around. FantasyTeamAdvisors.com is the website. But we've got more than just what you see on this YouTube page. So make sure you go check out the website. We are on fire with NBA, on fire with NFL, and betting as well. So here's how to win. Like this video, be a subscriber to the channel, and leave a comment. If this video gets at least 50 likes, you've left a comment, you have a chance to win a free week of FTA+. If this video gets at least 100 likes, you have a chance at a free month, 150 likes, a free year, 200 likes or more, a chance at a lifetime pass. And I know we can do it. We've been very close in the past with these. So what we're going to do is we are going to break down everything for you. If you've never been here to an NFL, I mean, maybe some people have been here for just NBA, but this is a little bit different because it is a 3-day or a 3-game Thanksgiving Day slate, which we are very excited to be able to hopefully break down a little bit differently than what you're used to. Another way to win for a giveaway, somewhere in this video I'll say a keyword, listen for that keyword, type it in there, and you have a chance to win a free week of FTA+. The third way to win is we did launch a new YouTube channel about history. It started with NFL history, but check this video out. So on Saturday, when we break down the main slate for week 13, we're going to have a giveaway here. So anyone who subscribes to this channel, anyone who likes this video, and leaves a comment will have a chance to win a free month of FTA+. Now, that month includes NBA, NFL, PGA, and MMA. So there is no PGA or MMA this weekend, so it skips because they're off for Thanksgiving. But we still have NFL and NBA to hopefully tide you guys over until that comes back. So make sure you go check out It's the History of and subscribe to that channel. So we have NFL. We're going to break that down. So we're also going to do some bets at the end of this video as well. Or I might just put them out. We'll definitely see. But we've got 3 games for Thursday. We are using our sponsor, Outlier.Bet. So if you guys have not checked out Outlier.Bet yet, make sure you check it out, whether or not you want to do the breakdowns, whether or not you want to use it for sports betting or looking at props. We've got it all there for you. So the link to sign up to them is down below. You get a 7-day free trial to their pro package. If you guys sign up with their premium or their normal package after the 7 days, we're going to give you a free month of FTA+. If you sign up for the pro package after the 7-day free trial using our link only, we're going to give you 3 months free, which is a $90 value on top of it. So let's just take a look at the 3 games right now. As of Tuesday, we've got the lowly Bears going up against the 10-1 Detroit Lions. Detroit is a 10-point favorite right now, an over-under 48.5, with a Lions being a massive money line favorite right now. And as you can see, the Lions have won 9 straight right here. They've covered the money line. In the -10, they've only covered that, you can see right here, 5 times. They've also had 1 game where they won by 10, so they tied that one, and then they've not covered it 3 times. And then the over-under 48.5, you can see right here, they've done that 6 of 10 times, did not cover it in this past Sunday, which I absolutely love them this past Sunday. And Jared Goff didn't do anything for us. So, again, I'm looking at the Lions there. Next game, we got just an awful game. We've got the New York Giants, who are 2-9, going up against the Dallas Cowboys, who are 4-7. I understand it's tradition for the Cowboys to be on Thanksgiving. It's trash. This is a trash game. You've got what would be funny would be have the Dodgers have the Cowboys sign Daniel Jones and start him against the Giants on Thursday. They won't, but it would be pretty funny. But you've got Dallas money line favorite right now. And as you can see, they've only hit that money line 3 of the last 10 games. They are a 4-point spread favorite. They've only hit that 2 of the last 10 games. And a 37.5 over-under. The Dallas Cowboys have covered that 6 games straight and 8 of their last 10 games. So they've been there. There just hasn't really been a defense in these games. And then finally, the Dolphins at the Packers. You've got the 5-6 Dolphins versus the 8-3 Packers. Packers are money line favorite right now. They've won 8 of their last 10, 2 straight in that one. And that Tua went absolutely off on Sunday. Just not to Tyreek, of course, because he was my number 1 pick in my season long. But it's neither here nor there. Packers are a 3-point favorite in this game. They've covered that only 5 of the last 10 games. They've also tied that once and lost it 4 times. And then over under 47.5 has not been very good for this, for the Packers here. You've got the Packers, 3 of the last 10 games, they've covered the over of 47.5. So we are going to use this Outlier.Bet. You can use it for props. If you want to go in there and look at some of the props in these games, we definitely can look at that after we build some lineups and break down the slate. So we are going to use our matchup tool. This is completely updated. We've got all of it updated. So if you go to the NFL tab, the matchup tool is updated for the year or for the week. The volume report is updated. The snap count. So if you guys want to see how many snaps, whatever player you're looking for, we've got you covered through the first 13 weeks or first 12 weeks of the season. The red zone stats are updated. The fantasy points per game are updated. And that's what we've got right now. So we will have projections out there. We will have the odds and the chalk as well. So make sure you go check out FantasyTeamAdvisors.com. But this is how to read this. And I'm going to put this on the other screen. But to read this, these are the defenses. These are all of the stats they've given up to quarterbacks. These are the rushing stats. And these are the fantasy points per game they've given up, both DraftKings and Fanduel, and the ranks. And then running back, same situation. Rushes allowed, receptions to running backs allowed, wide receivers, receiving stats, rushing stats, and then tight ends the exact same way, and how to read this. So we will go over that. This will be on the other screen when we go and build some lineups for you guys. So if you guys have never been with us before, buckle up. Hopefully you're in for a treat. Hopefully you guys are ready to bring home the bacon this week. So let's just take a look at the quarterback situation here. So these are the quarterbacks that would make sense. Obviously, Jared Goff is probably our number 1 against Chicago. Not the best matchup for him. But as we can see, if we look at the rankings here, the Dallas Cowboys defense gives up the most amount of fantasy points to the opposing quarterback with all of the current quarterbacks here. The problem is that's DeVito. Now, Tommy DeVito had a fantastic matchup against Tampa Bay this past week, did nothing with it. 189 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, 32 yards rushing, only 10.76 fantasy points. He was 4,000. You want to get creative, we could go back to the well with him. Now, he's going to be not very popular for the majority of people, but the Dallas defense is very, very bad. They ranked 27th, giving up 21.9 fantasy points per game to the opposing quarterback. They ranked 29 out of 32 against the running back, giving up 26.5 fantasy points. So if we were looking at the Giants for the running back situation, depending, Tyrone Tracy Jr. is technically the number 1. He's 5,800. You got Singletary at 4,800. But the problem is, this is the problem here. Singletary is the only one that scored a touchdown. 3 yards, 2 attempts, 3 yards. 2 receptions on 2 targets for 7 yards. He had a touchdown and only had 9 fantasy points. Whereas you have Tyrone Tracy Jr. as $1,000 more on DraftKings. And you look at him. He had 10 fantasy points. 28 yards in the air, 9 attempts for only 42 yards last week against Tampa Bay. It is a better matchup for them. As you can see, they're very bad. The New York Giants defense is very bad as well. So what we're going to do is we're just going to, kind of what we do with baseball, we're just going to break down the games. There's 3 games. Let's get in depth with it. Let's break it down. So if you've been with us for baseball, you know what we're talking about. So Chicago at Detroit. Looking at the over-under, I'm okay with this one. I don't trust Caleb Williams. I don't trust the Chicago Bears. I get that. Game log wise, they lost that game 30 to 27 against Minnesota. It was a very close game. He put up 340 yards. 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, had a 103.1 QB rating. He had 33 yards on the ground too. 29.9 fantasy points. So if we look at what we can see in this situation, Detroit's defense. So Detroit against the quarterback, they rank 6, so they're pretty good. They only give up an average of 15.2 fantasy points per game, which is right below what Caleb Williams has done. Now, being a Thanksgiving Day game, maybe we see something. He only has 11 touchdowns on the year, but against Minnesota's defense, he did very well, 340 yards. Might be his best game. Indy, he had a better game, 363 yards. Did have 2 touchdowns, but 2 interceptions. So Detroit's defense is not that good, very good against the opposing quarterback. He's 5,300. He is cheap. Goff on the other side against Chicago. Chicago against the opposing quarterback, even better. 3, they rank 3rd out of 32. They only give up an average of 14 fantasy points. Now, Goff really crapped the bed for me against Indy. 269 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, no rushing yards, 1 fumble, 10.76. People are going to pay up for Goff at 6,500, which they're going to be like, oh, I want to get Goff and I want to get Amon-Ra St. Brown. Now, which is completely fine. With 3 games, you got to get a little creative. But again, the Chicago defense is pretty damn good. I will have exposure to both of these quarterbacks. I think I'll have exposure to other quarterbacks a little bit more for a 3-game slate. So then we can get into the running back situation. So we look at the defenses. So running backs, looking at this game, Chicago ranks 19th out of 32. They give up an average of 24.3 fantasy points per game. Detroit ranks 2nd against the run, only giving up 16.3. So in that situation, I would rather take the running backs for Detroit. Now, with Montgomery being questionable, non-participant in the, walkthrough, didn't participate in a walkthrough. Okay, so he didn't walk. I don't know what that means. He injured his shoulder, was not cleared, did not play in the second half, really screwed us over, but Jahmyr Gibbs absolutely ate. But in the first half, 37 yards, he had a touchdown, 36 yards in the air. He had 16.3 fantasy points. I think he probably plays, but I would rather pay up for Jahmyr Gibbs in this situation. So I absolutely love Jahmyr Gibbs, regardless if Montgomery is hurt, but he is good to go. I think we're good to go there. With Detroit being 2nd best against the opposing running backs, DeAndre Swift scares me a little bit. He's 6,000. I'm probably off of DeAndre Swift, and Roschon Johnson is probably where I'm going here. If I'm looking at running backs in here, I am only looking at the Detroit running backs. Specifically, I'm paying up $7,500 for Jahmyr Gibbs. Now we get to the wide receivers for this game. Chicago ranks 5th out of 32, only giving up 28.7, where Detroit ranks 28th out of 32, giving up an average of 38.7 fantasy points per game. So, according to the stats, we want to target Chicago wide receivers more than we want to target Detroit. So if we look at Amon-Ra St. Brown, he is questionable, non-participant. Knee concern, let us down. 7 targets last week, but 62 yards, 12.2. Far cry from what he did with 11 targets and 11 receptions the week before. So Jameson Williams would obviously get a bump up if we're looking at Amon-Ra not being 100% or not playing. Because, again, it's a quick turnaround playing on Thursday morning compared to Thursday night after playing Sunday. So we look at Chicago. They have a great matchup here, whether or not we're looking at DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, or Odunze. So we look at Moore as the most expensive, $5,600. But again, Detroit's defense gives up an average of 38.7. So DJ Moore coming in last game, 29.9, had 7 targets. We're seeing 6+ targets in the last 3 games, 9 targets against Arizona. 100-yard game against last week, had a touchdown, and a little bit of trickery because he did run the ball a little bit. So you got Keenan Allen. Now, my problem is, while Keenan Allen had 86 yards last week and a touchdown, it's his best week he's had. He's only 5,100. He is in a great matchup here. He's always one play away from being injured and being out of the game. So I will have exposure to him, but I think I'd rather play Moore and Odunze in this situation. And then Odunze here, we just needed 30 yards out of him last week, got 39. 5 of 10 targets here. No touchdown there. 8.9 fantasy points. He's 5,000. I think it'll go under-owned, but I absolutely love a Chicago stack here. And then we look at tight ends. You got Sam Laporta, Cole Kmet, Brock Wright, Zylstra are the ones you're really looking at. Chicago against the tight end ranked 18th, giving up 12.1. Detroit ranks number 1, only 7.2. So if I am looking at this, I am definitely looking at Sam Laporta in this game. You could sprinkle in a Cole Kmet if you are stacking, if you want to go a full Bears stack in this situation. I get that. So that's where I'm at. I'd rather take Laporta over both, and Kmet over Kmet. But you could look at Brock Wright at 3,100 if you want to save $1,000 there. So to reiterate, I'm more on Caleb Williams than I am Jared Goff, but it is Jared Goff and it is Thursday football. So I will have some exposure to Goff, but I'll have more exposure to Caleb Williams. So let's go to the second game. Breaking down the second game. I don't know what this game is going to entail. It's an ugly game. The two teams are very bad. Cooper Rush is questionable. Did he leave hurt? Limited participant walkthrough. He's got knee injury. 32 attempts, 24 completions, 247 yards, 2 touchdowns for $5,000, 17.98. So not bad, but again, might not be 100%. But in this game, let's take a look at both defenses against the opposing quarterback. So we look at the Chicago Bears. They rank 3rd against the opposing quarterback. Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys rank 27th. They give up an average of 21.9. Whereas the New York Giants rank 19th, giving up 17.8. So Cooper Rush at 4,800 is not a bad choice. Tommy DeVito at 4,500 may be a better choice. Absolutely stunk it up last week, and people, if you play DFS, it's daily or weekly. You got to forget what he did last week. You got to look forward to this week. He has a prime matchup against a Dallas defense that's very, very bad. They give up an average of 21.9 where he's only averaging 10.8. He is 4,500. A giant stack is where I'd go in this situation. I love Tommy DeVito. I don't love him as a overall, like if this was a full slate, but a 3-game slate where people are going to be off of him. Give me some Caleb Williams. Give me some Tommy DeVito in this situation. Then we get to the running backs. So we look at the running backs. Dallas ranks 29th out of 32, gives up an average of 26.5. Where the New York Giants rank 28th out of 32, give up an average of 26.5 as well. So both of these defenses are basically tied. They give up 26.5 to the opposing running backs. The problem is Dallas's running game has been atrocious all year. Now, if we look at this, Tyrone Tracy makes a lot of sense. I would look at him. I would look at Singletary as long as he's healthy. You do have Rico Dowdle. So Dowdle, 86 yards last week, 12 yards through the air. Did have a fumble for a loss, 11.8. He's 5,500. He is there. So if we look at both of these defenses, Dallas has given up 3 100-plus rushing yard games and 421 yards through the air with a touchdown. The Giants have given up 4 100-plus rushing games, 8 touchdowns. Dallas has given up 13 touchdowns on the ground. Giants given up 447 yards through the air and a touchdown to opposing running backs. The problem is you've got Dowdle, you've got Cook, and you've got Zeke all in that backfield for them. Whereas the Giants, you've got Tracy and Singletary are the ones you're really using there. So I will have exposure to both sides here, both running back situations. So I'm probably going to go Tracy a little bit more. I will have a little bit of Singletary. I will have some Dowdle. But it's Thanksgiving. Zeke is back in Dallas. Would not surprise me if he gets a tutty here. A $4,400 tutty out of him would be exactly what I will not be surprised if Zeke goes for 1 or 2 scores in this game for absolutely no reason because everyone will be on Rico. Zeke might be a sneaky play here. Move to the wide receiver room here. The Dallas Cowboys, they rank 20th on DraftKings, give up an average of 34.4 fantasy points per game to the opposing wide receivers. The Giants, they rank 12th, giving up 31.2. So the Giants are better in the secondary against the opposing wide receivers. I'm still taking CeeDee Lamb. Why? Because CeeDee Lamb right here, game log, 12 targets last week, 12 targets the week before, 10 the week before that, 12 the week before that, 17 the week before that against San Francisco. He is their number 1 player. Cooper Rush, Trey Lance, whoever is throwing the ball to him, will get him the ball as much as possible. Whether or not he gets a touchdown, that's a different story. So the defenses here, the Giants' defense have given up 1,500 yards and 10 touchdowns to opposing wide receivers, but have not given up 100-plus rushing or 100-plus receiving game to an opposing wide receiver this year. The Dallas Cowboys defense against the secondary, so in neighbors, a Wan'Dale Robinson and Darius Slayton. The Dallas Cowboys have given up 1,684 yards to opposing wide receivers, 10 touchdowns, and 3 100-plus receiving yard games. They've also given up 109 rushing yards to opposing wide receivers. So there are certain things to look at. CeeDee Lamb, I love because I love the stack here. But I would rather focus on Neighbors and Wan'Dale Robinson with a Tommy DeVito stack. I might stack all three of those guys together. So I love CeeDee Lamb, probably my number one wide receiver this week, because he's going to get targeted. Would not surprise me 15-plus in this game. Would not surprise me whatsoever. Then we get to the tight ends for this game. Dallas ranks 14th out of 32, giving up 11.3. The Giants rank 2nd, only giving up 7.6 fantasy points per game. So Schoonmaker was a very huge value play for a lot of people last week. Had only 4 targets, 55 yards, but had a touchdown, 14.5 fantasy points at 2,500. He's only gone up to 3,400, so I think everyone and the main majority of the defense will focus on Ferguson. He is questionable. Schoonmaker could be sneaky here. Dallas, though, we could be looking at so Theo Johnson's questionable. He was, I mean, I don't know if I'll be using him much. I don't know if I'll be using much for the Giants. Maybe Bellinger at 2,500, but probably not. If I'm taking a tight end in this game, if Ferguson is out, Schoonmaker might be a sneaky option there. And that's what you've got there. That's the Giants and the Cowboys breakdown. I would rather take DeVito at 4,500, but I think it's going to be, I don't know how this game's going to go out. It's just two ugly teams for Thanksgiving. Then we got Miami at Green Bay, which could be a shootout. We could look at that. So let's look at the opposing defenses against them. So the Green Bay Packers against the opposing defense rank 7th out of 32, our opposing quarterback. They only give up an average of 15.2. The Dolphins defense, they rank 2nd out of 32. They only give up 13.5 fantasy points per game. So we look at that. Defense could reign supreme in this game. Maybe it's a low-scoring game here. Both of these defenses have been fantastic against the opposing quarterbacks. So it's Jordan Love, who's the most expensive. That's Tua, who's the second most expensive. But we saw Tua last week absolutely balled out. 31.48, 317 yards, 4 touchdowns, and of course not to Tyreek Hill. He was 5,800. He is now 6,000. Jordan Love last weekend, 14.72, only 163 yards, only completed 13 of 23, 2 touchdowns against San Francisco in a game they won 38-10. So obviously they went up big and then they ran the ball more. Definitely could see that. So in this situation, honestly, I'd rather take Tua over Love just because of how the defenses have been, but I don't know if I'll have much quarterback situation here. Move to the running back situation. So Green Bay against the running back ranked 16th, giving up 23.1. Miami ranked 15th, giving up 23. So they're very similar in stature against the opposing running backs. So Chan makes a ton of sense. Josh Jacobs absolutely feasted. He's the 3rd ranked running back this year. 106 yards, 3 touchdowns, 31.6 fantasy points in that game. I don't mind him whatsoever. I think Chan makes a lot of sense, but you're going to save $700 if you go there. Mostert, I'm not paying Mostert. 1.2, negative 0.2, 5.4. He hasn't done anything. Now I say that and he'll probably have the big game, but it's still a Chan's team. So the only two I'm really looking at for running backs in this game, Chan and Jacobs there. So move to the wide receivers. Green Bay ranked 6th against opposing wide receivers, only give up an average of 29.1. You've got Miami. They rank 2nd out of 32, only giving up 27.1. I think a sneaky defense here this week might be Miami. So we look at this. Tyreek Hill is questionable. Of course he's questionable. Was an estimated limited participant. Didn't do anything. 48 yards last week. Whoop-de-doo, no touchdown. 2 weeks prior, he did have a touchdown in that situation. You got Jaden Reed, who, you're looking at. You got Waddle. Instead of Tyreek, Waddle went off for 144 yards and 1 touchdown, 31.4 fantasy points. I think a lot of people are going to be on that stack again, which I'm okay with. But again, these defenses are pretty good against the opposing teams. Christian Watson, 0 receptions last week on 3 targets. 0.4 fantasy points. Let me know if you guys used him last week. I didn't, but let me know if you guys did. Dobbs, game log, 6 targets, 54 yards. Yeah. Wicks. You got Beckham, who would be cheap at 3,200. Was targeted 3 times last week. 0 receptions for 0.0. Really fell off. So, honestly, I don't know if I'll be targeting this game much for wide receivers. The game I want to target for wide receivers would be the Giants and the Cowboys. Then we get to tight ends. The Packers ranked 21st, giving up 13.4. The Dolphins are 23rd, giving up 13.8. So you're looking at Jonnu Smith, has got a touchdown he had 3 touchdowns, 2 against Vegas, 1 against New England. Has 4 total. He's had his best 2 games, his last 2 games. Could be in store for a game. If you are looking for a tight end, don't want to pay down for Shoemaker. I don't mind Jonnu at 4,300. You got Tucker Kraft here. Game log wise, 26 yards. He hasn't really done much with them. That's the problem. I'm really off of that. You do have Julian Hill, who did have. He's being targeted, but he's not doing anything with it. Durham Smythe hasn't really done anything either. So if I'm looking at tight ends overall, I'm probably Jonnu Smith's number 1. Laporta's 2, and Shoemaker is number 3. Defensive-wise, Dolphins are 2,700. I think I like the Dolphins' defense. Everyone's going to be in the Lions' defense. I think they could get shredded by Caleb. Cowboys' defense is wild to me. I know they have a great matchup. I don't like that. If I'm looking at defenses, I'm probably all in on the Dolphins here. So that is the breakdown of the 3 games, each position. If you guys like this, now, I could do this for main slates, but the video would be over an hour long. So you guys have to let me know what you like in this. It's kind of easier with this one because it's only 3 games. So now we are going to build a lineup on DraftKings. Kind of looking at what we've got going on situation-wise. What I usually do, if you're on any certain optimizer or anything like that, usually with the NFL, I like to put 25% max ownership just because we want to get some exposure to the other side. So let's build a lineup, not a crazy lineup, I shouldn't say crazy. Let's see what we can do with building here. So QB-wise, I think a lot of people are going to be on the top ones. Let's take a look. Now, this is a GPP one. Now, I don't know if it's going to be Drew Lock. He did 1 pass attempt for 3 yards. Yeah. So I don't think Drew Lock's going to be starting. So let's go make a crazy lineup with DeVito here. I think I want to go with both Neighbors. Okay. We'll go with Neighbors there. How'd Wandale do last week? He hasn't done bad, so we'll put him there. But also in that same game, I want CeeDee Lamb because I know he's going to be getting thrown to quite a bit. Running backs are where it's going to be a little bit different. But the Giants have been bad. The Cowboys are bad too. So if we're looking at running backs, you've got the big guys here. I think, can we get Gibbs in there and then go with Tracy? Defense, I do want to go with the Dolphins. So now we're at 5,200 for a tight end and a flex. So if we go to tight end, we could actually, this lineup's not bad at all. You guys, let me know if you guys use this lineup. So Jonnu Smith makes a ton of sense. If we go tight ends overall out of everybody here, the Dolphins defense gives up the most. I'm not really looking at Tucker Kraft as much because the Packers are right there. I think I'm going to go Jonnu. And now our flex, we're at 6,100. We could really go anywhere here. You got DJ Moore. You've got, actually, you know what? I think you got Waddle, who had a massive game here. If you want to use all of you got Jameson Williams. He would make sense if, in fact, Amon-Ra is not 100%. Obviously, he had a huge game 2 weeks ago. does rush a little bit, runs a little bit, and catches the ball. 6,100 I'm okay with. Jaden Reed I don't want. DJ Moore, that's what I'm going to go with. So there's my lineup. That is one lineup. So we're going to build two. We're going to build two lineups. So this is one lineup, a Giants stack here with Tracy, Neighbors, and Robinson. Dolphins defense is where I'm at on this one. So now let's build another lineup here. We're not going to go DeVito. Okay. We're going to go Caleb Williams, who's 5,300. He's going to be throwing it to, He's going to be throwing it to DJ Moore. Just put DJ Moore there. Tight end wise, I'm not using that. Chicago, I'll put Laporta in that same game. So we'll go off of that. I do want Jahmyr Gibbs in here. I do want Tracy. Okay. Defense wise, I'm going to go with the Dolphins again. So we're at 6,300 for two wide receivers. Yeah, we're getting CeeDee Lamb in there because he's going to get a ton of run. Tight end wise, Jonnu. Ferguson maybe's out. Schoonmaker would make a lot of sense if Ferguson is out. Let's see what we can do with Jonnu Smith. Nope, didn't mean to do that. What did I do? I didn't mean to go Amon-Ra. Okay, now wide receiver wise, we could go anywhere. 7,400. The only one we can't go with is Amon-Ra St. Brown. You know what? We're going Malik Neighbors. Now that is a Chicago mini stack, just Williams and Moore. You've got Gibbs and Tracy, Neighbors, Laporta, Smith, and Dolphins. But we do leave 300 on the table. So if you did want to go a different situation with a flex, let's just look at what we could get at flex-wise at 4,600. Dobbs, no. Johnson, no. Zeke, if you think Zeke is going to, have a massive Thanksgiving, I could see that because it is Thanksgiving. You do have Jonnu, though, against Green Bay, which makes a lot of sense. So that's another lineup, a Caleb Williams-led lineup there. Now let's do one on DraftKings or on Fanduel. QB-wise, you can see the price is different. We're going to go the same situation. DeVito, throwing it to Neighbors and Wandell. I want Lamb in there as well. Running back situation, Tyrone at the top. Achane, Gibbs, that all makes sense. Let's see what the defense price is, though. So they do have the Dolphins at 3,900 compared to the other one, so we'll put them there. Now, we were averaging 6,900 for the rest of the spots. So tight end-wise, Jonnu 6,300. Sam Laporta is 5,700. What did he do last week? Didn't do much. I think I'm back on the Sam Laporta train for here. Now we're at 7,500 for a running back and a flex. So you could look anywhere here. Achane down to Gibbs, down to Tracy. We've already got Tracy. Dowdle is there. Josh Jacobs had a mighty game, so we'll put Jacobs in there. We're at 7,200 for a flex. We can go Jaden Reed down. DJ Moore makes a ton of sense. Jonnu Smith at 6,300, leaving some on the table. I'm going back to DJ Moore. So that is a Tommy DeVito-led DJ Moore team. Enter that lineup there. Now, we'll do one more. And kind of the same thing. We will build, I guess we got a single entry here. Didn't even know that. We will build a lineup here. Oh, that's the lineup. We will go with one more lineup. No, I want Thursday. Why did you go to Sunday? I just want Thursday main. Thank you. That lineup's there. Again, QB-wise, I'm going to go Caleb Williams. I want Caleb throwing it to DJ Moore. If you want to go a second one, you could probably go, let's go cheaper. Let's save 1,000 and go Adunze. Running back situation, Gibbs, and I'm looking at Tyrone Tracy. Defense-wise, again, I'm going Miami. And then that has left us 7,200 for a wide receiver, tight end, and flex. So if we're going tight end, I'm probably going, let's go cheap. Now let's go Jonnu. And then wide receiver and flex at 7,700. So wide receiver, Amon-Ra may be hurt. Lamb is in there. And our flex option at 6,900. Jaden Reed, DJ Moore. This is a full-on. Let's go Jalen Waddle. I just don't trust Tyreek. So Caleb Williams all the way down to the Miami Dolphins defense. So we enter that. And finally, we're going to do a lineup here on Yahoo. So pricing's a little bit different, but let's see what we can do building here on Yahoo. But the keyword of the video is Alani. I don't know if you guys have ever had this one. It's like an energy drink, but it's vegan, whatever, gluten-free, 200 milligrams of caffeine, but it's the Witch's Brew. It's like the caramel apple suckers. It's delicious. Not a sponsor, Alani, but if you see this, my wife would love it if you sent some, if you were a sponsor. Anyway, Tua is the highest priced quarterback on this slate. Like I said, it's weird. So anyway, let's go Tommy DeVito. I want him to throw it to Malik Neighbors. I want Lamb in there, and I also want Wan'Dale Robinson, who is down here at 17. Running back situation, I got to get me some Gibbs, and let's go with Josh Jacobs. Defense, I'm going back. The lowest one, I'm going the Dolphins defense. We're now averaging $13 for a tight end and a flex. As you can see the difference, Jonnu's $2,300. He's so expensive in this one. Let's go down, and let's go with Luke Schoonmaker. Be a cheap again, these are GPP options, obviously. Then $16 for a flex. Cole Kmet, Sam Laporta. I'm not going Kmet. I think I'd rather go with Sam Laporta in that situation. So that's one lineup. And I can't play normal. I can't play a paid contest on Yahoo for God knows whatever reason. But we'll go a different free one that I can play with. So if we look at this situation, nope, that's all the games. I want Thursday games, guys. Thursday free entry. I already did that one. Oh, I can't do another one. Well, I'll build the lineup, but I can't enter the lineup. So another lineup we could go with, quarterback situation. I think a lot of people are going to be on Tua and Goff, but let's go Caleb Williams. I want him to throw it to DJ Moore. I'll put a Dunze in there. We'll go 3 games. I think Lamb makes sense to get in there. Defense-wise, I'm going Dolphins yet again. Running back situation, we can go Gibbs and Tyrone Tracy. Now we're at $1,500 for a tight end. If we pay up for Jonnu at $2,300, that's $8 for a flex. I don't know if we're going to be able to find anyone that's, yeah. We cannot do that, sadly. Tight end. I mean, they're there. Kind of stinks what we've got going on. So I'm not paying up for Smith, not paying up for Kmet. Let's go Laporta. And now we're at $15 for a flex situation. Ferguson, I'm out on. Roshan, nah. Singletary, no, because we already have that. Yeah, that's where it gets a little bit, what are we going to do with this? So, depending if you want to pay up at other positions, let's say we don't go with Lamb at $30, okay? We go wide receiver, averaging 22, so we're at 22 to get a wide receiver. We'll go Wan'Dale, and then flex at $28. DeAndre Swift, Malik Neighbors. We can go Neighbors. So we got Caleb Williams, thrown it to DJ Moore and Adunze. We've then got Malik Neighbors in there. We got Tyrone. We got Gibbs. We got the Dolphins. We got Laporta and Wan'Dale Robinson. So there you go. That is what we've got. If you guys want to see, I can't enter it. I forgot. If you guys want to see some bets, I will do a Thursday Thanksgiving betting video because I don't want this video to be any longer. Good luck on Thursday. Let's gobble, gobble. Let's put the bacon aside right today. Let's bring home some turkey. Gobble, gobble. That was dumb.